Hello everyone, this is April, the artist behind InvokeArtSense. So today I will be doing oil painting that you see behind me. These were done during my university time. They're obviously large scale. That's not what I'm going to be doing today. I'm thinking probably I'll do 8 by 10 today, but I got something really special. Now I haven't been doing oil painting consistently, not a lot. If you've been around, you've seen a live stream of me doing an oil painting, and I didn't finish it on live stream, but I did finish it after the fact. One oil painting like this, that one actually took 2 years, just because it was a special painting for my graduation, but it was a part of my exhibition to graduate. And I have a whole series of mythology ceramic heads and that ceramic and mythology paintings. But so oil painting does take a while, and I would say normally any oil painting, maybe not small ones, but I've never really painted small oil paintings. Isn't that strange? No small paintings, just big giant ones, at least that size right there. My self-portrait here, you can see. So this is like heritage, my heritage, me being half Korean and half white, Caucasian. The reason why this video is special is because one, I will be doing an oil painting, which I haven't done in a while, besides the live stream. And two is because it will be Cobra water-soluble oil colors. Now the reason why I can't do oil paintings like I did before is because 90% of them were done in university and 10% only was done at home. And now that I am at home all the time, especially during this corona stuff, the smell, toxicity, I use odorless mineral spirits, terpenoid, but even with that, the oil paint themselves smell, strong enough. And I have a fish in my room, actually on my art table, betta fish, so I can't have any kind of smelling like things open in this room at all. And yes, I could go paint in the other room, but then I have the problem of my mother being sensitive to the smell. And so when I did the last oil painting, I believe I finished it outside, and it was good weather, but recording doesn't work outside for me, so I have never really tried to do it inside. But that will change today. Yes, it will. And do you know why? It will change because look what I got from Jerry's Artorama. This was $87, and this set is Lightfast, conforms to ASTM, so they are highly pigmented and artist quality, and they're a good price. This is I have 10 colors. Each tube is 40 milliliters. And what do we have? Okay, even they gave in this box, you can see they also gave me a linseed oil Cobra painting medium. This is linseed oil, I believe. This painting medium is based on vegetable oil, synthetic resin, and water. So you can clean your brushes with water and clean up just like any other water soluble medium like acrylic. And I think that these are like little palette things, not quite sure. And there's 2 brushes of 4. I'm going to be unboxing them in a second, but you can see that they gave me 2 brushes. And they had a set that was maybe $15 cheaper without the medium, without the brushes, but I just got this set here. We have what it looks like. It's just a flat brush. They're soft. and it's a 10. I've got a ton of oil painting brushes, and this one is a 4, just a 4. This one, just a flat 2, just a flat. But yeah, I just thought a couple more brushes won't hurt. So there's that. Got a few more brushes to add to the oil painting arsenal. And so they don't look pretty because they have been used. I would say I've got a wide range of variety here for me to use. So we're going to start playing with oil paint. I am swatching these paints now, and from now on, everything I say will be, it is my own opinion, my own thoughts about oil painting or this set. I wouldn't say I'm a professional oil painter because I don't do it all the time, but I would say I'm experienced enough. So just take my words with a grain of salt. And if you have any comments, please comment below. And if you know about oil paintings, and I'm more than willing to have an open ear to learn more, because there's always there's always something you learn every day. This set did come with the ivory black, but I don't use black. I think in the beginning of my painting painting career, you could say, I did use black. I believe back in the day I used to mix it with like ultramarine, but that is not the best way to go when you're painting, because if you have any sort of experience, you would know black would make your painting dull. So I mixed ultramarine and this burnt sienna to achieve this black that you see right here. Now when I do oil paintings, as you can see, the canvas is toned because I hate white canvases, and it's really good for me. I like that way, but you don't have to tone your canvas first. And these canvases were toned ages ago. I just never did anything with them. And with toning, I just used my not linseed oil, I used my terpenoid or any mineral spirit and just a thin layer of the paint, and that was it. But that was done a long time ago. And this is these canvases are really, really thick. I love these canvases. I got a ton of them, big and small, and they can be a pain to paint around though, especially at the first layer of oil painting, because if you know oil paints, they don't dry very fast, and so you're going to get your hands all messy. But when I was painting this, I got my hands messy with the other type of paint as well, but with this paint, I was never really concerned about touching the oil paint, never. It was more about the smell and just taking it safe for my fish and dog too. But I didn't use any liquid. I actually used to use a lot of liquid because I'm a little impatient. I work in layers for oil paints. These, you will see 3 paintings, technically 2 paintings being done in this video, and they really were just one layer. But when I do oil paints, I do layer after layer after layer. In the sunflower painting with the butterflies in the beginning, that took at least 3 weeks or a month to finish. You saw the live stream. If you remember the live stream, that was only one layer, maybe not even a complete one layer. But this betta fish, that's just one layer. Probably I will go back after it dries and do more details on this betta fish. Maybe I think I could finish it in 3 layers because it's just a simple betta fish. It depends on how much detail I want to achieve. And, it being just one layer, that's fine. I think that it still looks nice, but just so you know, it's not usually my style just to do one oil painting in just one layer. And even the second painting set I did, it looks nice with one layer, but it would look even nicer if I let it dry and added another layer. Then I let it dry and added another layer. And that's just my style of painting. I just like that super smooth look instead of having that textured look. And the brushes they gave in this set, they gave the flat brushes that were smooth. They're nice when you start painting, but then when you add more paint, then you lose the ability to blend without picking up the paint because the underneath layer is not dry. So if you have harder bristles, bristle brushes, just harder bristles, hog brushes or something like that, then you're able to, blend without picking up the paint as much, if that makes sense. And the beauty of oil paint, you will see, is if you make a mistake, you can just redo it. It's not set in stone, not for a long while. It is the beauty and curse of oil paint, if you think of it like that. But when I sketched this out first, it was a little bit not right, so I just wiped it off and started over. And you have also an option of doing it different ways. You could use graphite if you want, and just use carbon paper. That's an option. Or just straight graphite. It's not always the best choice, but it's your preference. You can use straight paint, like a sienna paint color that you see. You can use white charcoal pencil, and I used to do it like that, but it's just so much easier to use just paint to do your first sketch layer. And so I guess let's talk about brushes. You don't want to use your watercolor brushes with your oil paint. So I do have my set of oil painting brushes, and I think I'm satisfied with what I have. I have mostly the bristle brushes that are like the natural hard brushes, just because I do like to work in layers, and I usually tend to just wait between layers and then I add more layers. A soft brush, after it's been dry, it's good to dry brush with them. And it's just your preference. I'm not really a professional. I'm not here to teach anybody about how to oil paint, but I am here to share with you my first impression of using water soluble oil paint. If you are someone who's scared of doing if you are unsure of starting with oil paint, working with this water soluble kind is a really good choice. I didn't smell anything during the whole process. Got it all over my hands. It was easy to wash off my hands with just soap and water. I use also a new palette I got from Jerry's that you see on the left. I have a glass palette. I have a big Master Sun palette, but this was just easy enough. After it dries, probably I can't use this palette for any other paints, but it'll probably be easy to wash out if I really wanted to, but I'll probably leave the paint in there. I don't know yet. But as far as cleanup goes, it's really easy. It's not going to take you forever, and between colors you can rinse your brush, clean your brush like any other like watercolor, but of course your water is going to get muddier. And if you have two water containers, that would be best. I was using only one. I just didn't want to find another one, but it really didn't bother me much. And so I did these two. This didn't start off as my portrait, but it ended up being my portrait. I guess I tend to paint myself no matter what. I guess with oils, I just, maybe it's because I have painted myself so much in oils. So it ended up looking like me, and I think I made myself better looking, I think. But So this is kind of a portrait on the left. I could have just left it as the right one, but since the oils take forever to dry, I couldn't really work with them anymore. So I felt like I needed more. So I just extended the canvas, with the separation. I really like that effect. I actually have long canvases that I wanted to do like a 4 series like this, but of course not a portrait. But this just is like a portrait but separated. And the left one is just like extension of the fan. And of course there's not a lot of details because that's the first layer of the oil paint, but I like the raw aspect of it. You can see the brush strokes, and it's like not a clean smooth effect, but that's actually good for this one. But the beauty of oils too is that after it dries, I could go back and add more color, go back and add more detail. It just depends on how I feel. I may do that. I really like just the paint strokes that I see, especially on the right. And I don't have blue eyes, but I was really just painting anybody, and it just ended up looking like me. So blue eyes, I think a little bit of blue eyes, and of course I'm using not black, I'm using the ultramarine and burnt sienna. I might have added some of the pyro red sometimes, and I'm not sure why, but I just extended the eye too on the side. But you're not going to see the eye obviously if you have it hanging, but instead of just having just plain skin tone color, I added the eye right there. And the fan is really simple except for on the left. And when you're doing like oil paint, you could do wet and wet, and that's great, but it's not my favorite method. And the little palette thing, the little metal thing that it came with, I think if you had like a regular wood palette or something like that, like a Bob Ross palette, you can just put it right there on the side of it, and and it has like a slot. So I used that palette to put the medium, and I used the medium when I needed somewhat of a glaze, smoother, brush strokes, like for the eyebrows. But with the paint being wet, it's still not easy to do. But I'm really happy with this purchase, and you should, if you really want to get into oil painting, but you just never did because of the smell or something like that. These paints are not expensive. I was looking for something that wasn't an arm and a leg. If you bought them singly, and they cost more, of course. And I don't know if they're considered student grade, but they are Lightfast. In the pigmentation, I think they're pretty good. Like some of the colors, like the permanent green, it just seems kind of blah. But most of the colors they gave in the set was really nice. I think I just used the permanent green for the leaf, the plant for the beta. And you really don't even need a permanent green. You can just make that yourself. But I think that the colors, most of them, are great in this set. And some are really expensive when you buy them singly. They're not cheap paints, but they're not, going to cost you an arm and a leg. But I will be continuing working with oil paints more. And I think that I will try to make oil paints, maybe the full process instead of just the first layer. I just didn't have a lot of time to wait for the paint to dry, and that's just the time management and the YouTube thing. Most of the time when I make something for my videos, I make it in one day, and maybe editing takes another day. But so I just have to plan more, and then I can add oil paintings more to my videos, or just work wet and wet. and then make series of oil paintings, and I might do that too. I have a series. Okay, here's the first episode, and that's the first one, and then I'll continue working on that painting. That'll be the second episode. Or it could be like a Bob Ross painting style where everything is wet and wet. Maybe I should do a Bob Ross painting tutorial or painting. If you want to see a Bob Ross painting from me, please comment below. I'm not usually into landscapes. The only reason why I did the sunflower oil painting you saw in the beginning was because my mom wanted it. And that's not technically a landscape. It's just foliage basically with butterflies and a mountain in the back. But definitely, even if no one says yay to Bob Ross, I think that's a good idea. Might be hard for me, but challenges are good. And since I decreased my art subscription boxes, I have more art making videos coming up. So really the hair here was pretty simple. You're not going to see it because it's on the side unless you're walking and looking at it at the side. And here really is not really actually what I should have done was just paint on the top and paint black on the sides, just because I think that's more cohesive. But this method is fine too. It's different, and definitely I got my hands dirty here because I have to touch the sides of the canvases all the time. But since they're water soluble, and I haven't tested this because nothing got on my clothes, but I remember ruining so many of my jackets, shirts, jeans, everything. I just ruined all of everything. Once oil paint gets on your clothes, it'll never come off. But I wonder, if this gets on my clothes, will it come off? Maybe, because it came off of my desk really easily. But if you let it dry, definitely I think it probably won't come off. So I think, but it's still better than the original. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing with my original oil painting. Maybe when this COVID stuff is over, I might be able to use it more, or maybe when my situation changes, then I might use that, because it's still a good paint. If you have used water-soluble oil paint, what do you think about it? I really think it feels like normal oil paint. Doesn't feel any different to me. Maybe a tiny bit creamier? Maybe? What are your thoughts on that? I really see no difference, honestly. I'm going to probably invest more. I got enough colors for me, it works for me. It's actually easier to mix colors, in my opinion, in oils than watercolors. Probably just because oils are just easier to cover up mistakes. White is a blessing for oil paint. And of course, I never use white in watercolors. And so, but with oils, you add white literally to everything, to highlights and to your original mixed colors to make your skin tones especially. So it's just easy. It's just an easy medium to work with, in my opinion. It may take forever and a day to dry, and I actually don't know how long each layer will dry. No linseed oil, no lincoln oil was used, so it's pure oil paint and just some of the painting medium. I didn't use it very often, so I just wonder how long it's going to take to dry. Hopefully maybe 2 days, but I guess later I will update you on the drying time on these paints, but they're probably going to be the same as your traditional oil paints, unless you use Linquin, but usually when I use Linquin, it thins out your paint more, so your results look better, I think, without the liquid. I used to use liquid a lot because I preferred a smoother effect, but lately I don't prefer that smooth painting brush strokes. I prefer the texture look. So out of all 10 of these paints, the cheapest is the black, ivory black, and but still the set was much better. And the most expensive hue here would be the burnt sienna at 18 and 1 cents and the permanent orange at 18 and 1 cents. The titanium white is 11.45, so that's a little bit more, and then some of the other ones are only 7.80. So definitely not a cheap brand, but these paints are made by Royal Talons, and that's the same company that makes the Van Gogh watercolor paints and a lot of other things. And so they have a high degree of pigmentation, like I said earlier, and they do have a grinding process from what they say on the website. But if you saw in the earlier swatching process, there was a lot of binder that came up on the top of a lot of the paint tubes, and probably just because these paints are not the highest quality, just because, and that tends to happen with oil paint. And these are not old, and it tends to happen with older oil paints that you haven't used in a while, or new but they're old, or just the cheaper kind. And so that's okay, you can mix it back together. If that happens, it's not a big deal. And they have 7D transparent, semi-transparent, semi-opaque, and opaque colors. And they have like a 3+ Lightfastness rating, highest degree of Lightfastness, and they say under museum conditions remain unchanged for at least 100 years. So they say that range includes 32 monopigmented colors. And they have 10 colors based on highly exclusive pigments such as cadmiums, cobalts, and chromium oxides. I will later add to my range of colors like cadmiums, cobalts, and chromium oxides later. Maybe also I might want a burnt umber. They didn't include that. Actually, I wish they had included a burnt umber instead of ivory black. Most higher quality paints don't even include a black, and you know why? It's because black is not a good color to use. I don't even think I'm going to ever use it, not even in a black, maybe in a black and white like mock-up or something like that, but I don't really think I'm going to be using it for that purpose or to mix into my other colors. It's just not a good color to have. I hope you enjoyed this video and look forward to more oil painting videos and a series. And I will see you next time for the next exciting video. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Goodbye, Invokers.